Located right on the doorstep of Africa, these islands have belonged to Spain for over 500 years. A legacy of conquests, diplomacy, and the age of discovery has helped shape the Spanish nation. Welcome to the Canary Islands, the largest overseas territory of the European Union (EU). Thanks to Mike, a fellow filmmaker, for this stunning footage. Situated in the eastern Atlantic Ocean, off the coasts of southern Europe and North Africa, lies a group of islands known as Macaronesia. For ancient Europeans, particularly the Greeks and Romans, these islands marked the farthest edge of the known world. Today, Macaronesia forms a broad, crescent-shaped archipelago comprising 5 island groups: the Azores, Madeira, and the savage island Selvagans belonging to Portugal, the Canary Islands, or Canarias belonging to Spain, and furthest south, Cabo Verde, an independent nation. Among these, the Canaries are the largest archipelago in Macaronesia. The closest point of the archipelago is just 100 kilometers 62 miles west of the African continent and about 1,600 kilometers 1,000 miles southwest of Spain's capital, Madrid. The archipelago is an autonomous community of Spain. Although it manages many of its internal affairs, it remains an integral part of the Kingdom of Spain. From west to east, the 8 main islands include El Hierro, La Palma, La Gomera, Tenerife, Gran Canaria, Fuerteventura, Lanzarote, La Graciosa. Why did the Canary Islands belong to Spain? Around 2,000 years ago, Berbers from North Africa settled on the Canary Islands. No one knows exactly how they crossed the sea, but it is likely they arrived before the Common Era. After centuries of isolation, they developed a distinct culture and became known as the Guanches. In the 14th century, the expansion of European naval powers into the Atlantic turned the Canary Islands into a key target. Located between Europe, Africa, and later the Americas, these islands were coveted by many seafaring nations. In 1402, the Kingdom of Castile, the predecessor to Spain, began its campaign to conquer the Canary Islands. But the process was not easy. The Guanches fiercely defended their homeland. On Tenerife and other islands, they repeatedly defeated Castilian forces thanks to their knowledge of the terrain and resilient spirit of resistance. After nearly a century of fighting, Castile finally gained control of the entire archipelago in 1496. However, Portugal also laid claim to the islands, sparking fierce competition. Eventually, the issue was resolved through the Treaty of 1479. Portugal officially recognized the Canary Islands as part of Castile. In return, Castile abandoned most of its ambitions in the South Atlantic, where Portugal was expanding its influence. This event firmly consolidated Castile's ownership among European powers. The later Union of Castile and Aragon created the nation of Spain, and the Canary Islands naturally became a part of it. The Canaries' role in the discovery of the Americas. After joining Spain, the Canary Islands became an essential stopover for transatlantic voyages. Exploration fleets and merchant ships frequently docked here to stock up on food, fresh water, repair their vessels, and wait for favorable winds before crossing the ocean. This era is known as the Age of Discovery, when Portugal and Spain led the world's greatest expeditions. Direct voyages from the Iberian Peninsula in Europe to the Americas were difficult because the wind direction was not always favorable. However, located further south, the Canary Islands sat right in the path of the highly stable trade winds. Many historical voyages began here, including the famous journey of Christopher Columbus. In August 1492, a few days after leaving mainland Spain, Columbus' fleet arrived in Gran Canaria. Due to a ship's broken rudder, Columbus had to stop for repairs while also stocking up on fresh water, firewood, and other supplies for the long journey ahead. From the island of La Gomera, he caught the northeast trade windsa, stable and reliable wind pattern that carried his fleet across the Atlantic. 36 days after leaving the Canary Islands, the expedition set foot on an island in the present-day Bahamas, marking the beginning of long-term contact between Europe and the Americas. For over 5 centuries, the Canary Islands have remained under Spanish rule. Despite attacks by pirates and foreign navies, no nation has ever gained long-term control. Today, the Canaries are Spain's furthest territory from Europe, playing a particularly important role in the economy, defense, shipping and tourism in the Atlantic region. Volcanic islands, the Canary Islands, cover an area of 7,440 square kilometers, 2,870 square miles, ranking 13th among Spain's 17 regions. It is also the only region in the country with active volcanoes in the modern era. The islands were formed over 20 million years from oceanic lava flows. This tectonic process is ongoing, making the Canaries one of the most geologically active regions in Spain. The most recent eruption occurred on the island of La Palma in 2021 and lasted for nearly 3 months. It was the largest eruption in the archipelago in over 50 years, burying thousands of buildings and creating new coastal land strips, showing us exactly how these islands are shaped over millions of years. Most of the islands feature mountainous terrain with steep slopes and deep valleys, typically peaking inland and sloping down toward the sea. The 3 islands closest to Africa have an elevation of about 400 meters, while the 5 western islands all exceed 1,000 meters. Hundreds of volcanic craters and gray ash fields are still scattered across the islands. From above, the landscape looks like the surface of a planet that has just endured countless meteorite impacts. The most famous peak is Mount Teide on the island of Tenerife. Standing at 3,715 meters over 12,000 feet, it is the highest point in all of Spain. From some of the islands, you can even see Africa's Sahara Desert. Despite this, the Canaries have a much milder climate. The cold Canary Current flowing along the West African coast, combined with the stable trade winds, brings moisture and keeps the temperature on the islands pleasant, especially in summer. The western islands Tenerife, La Palma, La Gomera, El Hierro enjoy a nearly ideal subtropical oceanic climate. Because they have higher elevations, they receive more rainfall. Their northern slopes are covered with lush laurel forests, cliffs, valleys, and pine woods. On Tenerife, average daytime temperatures range from 18 to 25 C, and the highs Population and administration. The typical scenery of the Canary Islands features modern coastal towns backed by majestic mountain ranges. Most people live on the wetter, windward sides of the islands, while the leeward, arid areas are sparsely populated. These islands are much more crowded and bustling than many parts of mainland Europe. The archipelago's total population is about 2.27 million, with a density of 305 people square kilometer second, only to the capital, Madrid, and comparable to the Basque Country of Spain. The Canary Islands are also the most populous overseas territory in the European Union. After taking control, Castile encouraged people from the Iberian Peninsula to move here and settle. They brought with them Catholicism, Spanish law, and the Spanish system of government. Meanwhile, the indigenous Guanche population plummeted due to war, disease, and assimilation. The survivors gradually intermingled with the Spanish settlers, blending Guanche heritage into the new society. Today, most residents are Spanish, alongside about 20 who have roots in Latin America or other European countries. People inhabit all 8 main islands, with Tenerife being the most populous at nearly 1 million people, followed by Gran Canaria with nearly 900,000. Many of the smaller islets have no permanent residents. A unique feature of the Canary Islands is its dual capital system. Santa Cruz de Tenerife and Las Palmas de Gran Canaria share administrative duties. This is a rare system designed to balance power between the 2 largest islands. One island houses the executive and legislative branches, while the other operates the executive and judicial branches. The archipelago is divided into 2 provinces. Santa Cruz de Tenerife includes Tenerife, La Palma, La Gomera, and El Hierro. Las Palmas includes Gran Canaria, Lanzarote, Fuerteventura, and La Graciosa. About 80% of the population practices Roman Catholicism, and Spanish is the official language. rely primarily on tourism. The islands welcomed a record 18.39 million visitors last year alone, including 15.69 million international tourists. Being part of the European Union but offering year-round warm weather, it especially attracts visitors from the United Kingdom, though it's no longer in the EU, Germany, Ireland, the Netherlands, and many other countries. The average expenditure per tourist is €1,539, about 1,760 USD, generating total tourism revenues exceeding €24 billion. Tourists come here seeking sunshine, warm winter getaways, volcanic landscapes, and beautiful island seascapes. Water sports like surfing and scuba diving are also very popular. Thanks to the steady trade winds, the Canaries are one of Europe's premier surfing destinations. Additionally, the islands are famous for their fresh seafood, local wines, traditional cuisine, and grand festivals, notably the Carnival in Santa Cruz de Tenerife, of the most spectacular carnivals in the world. Besides tourism, the Canary Islands offer some of the most attractive tax incentives in Europe through the Canary Islands Special Zone mechanism. The corporate income tax here is only 4%, significantly lower than the 25% on mainland Spain. The regional government is striving to promote the islands as an international investment hub, focusing on digital technology, software development, film, animation, video games, logistics, and international trade. Services and trade account for about 90% of the local economy. Industry here is modest, consisting mostly of food and beverage processing, utilities, and tourism support. Agriculture is limited by the terrain, but still produces agricultural goods such as Canary bananas, tomatoes, wine grapes, and subtropical fruits. In terms of energy, the majority of electricity currently comes from thermal power plants running on imported oil. However, about 20% of the electricity is already supplied by renewable transportation. The Canary Islands boast one of the most advanced transportation networks in the world for an island region, serving as a powerful engine for tourism and trade. The archipelago has 8 airports. Nearly every inhabited island has its own. There are direct flights connecting the Canaries with major Spanish cities like Madrid, Barcelona, Seville, as well as numerous cities in the UK, Germany, France, the Netherlands, Italy, Ireland, and North Africa. New routes, such as to Canada, are continuously being added. A high-speed ferry system allows for quick connections between the islands. The seaports not only serve island residents, but also act as vital refueling stations and cargo transit hubs. The 2 busiest ports are the Port of Las Palmas on Gran Canaria and the Port of Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Both can accommodate large container ships, oil tankers, and massive cruise liners. These 2 largest islands also feature toll-free highway systems and convenient light rail networks. However, the history of transportation in the Canary Islands is also marked by one of the most horrific disasters in aviation history. On March 27, 1977, following a bombing at Gran Canaria Airport that forced many flights to divert, Tenerife Airport became severely overcrowded. In thick fog and poor visibility, a series of radio communication misunderstandings between air traffic controllers and the flight crews led to a tragedy. A KLM Boeing 747 took off while a Pan Am Boeing 747 was still taxiing on the same runway. The 2 massive aircraft collided, sparking a massive fire that claimed the lives of 583 people. To this day, this remains the deadliest accident in the history of commercial aviation. Following this disaster, the global aviation industry implemented massive safety reforms, including the standardization of radio communication and the widespread adoption of crew resource management (CRM) systems. Many experts assert that the painful lessons learned from Tenerife H. Fun facts: the name today, if you search for the word canary, you will likely see images of the famous little yellow bird, the canary. Many people mistakenly believe the Canary Islands were named after this bird. The truth is exactly the opposite. The name Canary dates back to ancient Roman times, derived from a Latin term meaning island of the dogs, referring to the monk seals that lived there at the time, not pet dogs. Later, when people found a small yellow bird with a melodious song on the islands, they named the bird after the archipelago. Fire and ice in the Canaries, you can see snow and swim in the ocean on the exact same day. It may sound incredible, but it is entirely possible. The archipelago is dubbed the Islands of Eternal Spring due to its mild climate. In winter, Mount Teides's peak is often blanketed in snow, while the beaches right below remain sunny with temperatures above 20 C 68F. In just about an hour's drive, you can go from a snow-white mountainous region down to a sun-drenched beach, a highly rare experience in the world. Time zone quirks. Despite belonging to Spain, the Canary Islands use Western European Time UTC-0, the same time zone as Portugal and the United Kingdom, which is 1 hour behind Madrid and Barcelona. This is the only region of Spain with a different time zone from the mainland. Because of this, Spanish national broadcasters often announce the time by saying 12 noon in Madrid, 11 a.m. in the Canary Islands. Una hora menos en Canarias. The phrase una hora menos en Canarias, 1 hour less in the Canary Islands, has become a familiar catchphrase throughout Spain. You will frequently hear it on national radio and television stations right after the host announces the local time. For example, good morning, dear radio listeners. It is now 7 a.m., 6 a.m. in the Canaries. Starting at this hour is Federico's morning show, that is the Canary Islands, a part of Spain located just off the coast of Africa. If you listen